Welcome back, Dominators. Here we are with yet another frequently asked question episode. I tried to keep myself as short as possible. Let's start with a little brief update about my base. It's pretty obvious that I'm sitting currently at a bunch of resources, unable to spend them. I can only spend my oil. Otherwise, I'm a pretty attractive target in the multiplayer. The walls were the major reason which drove me to take the decision to advance to the atomic age within the next, let's say, about 20-25 days, I think. Upgrading some more towers as well as my traps. I have done a huge bunch of my university research, which I wanted to prepare for the early entrance in the atomic age. Also, getting access in the atomic age to the APCs makes me quite happy. If you are interested and now curious about these some kind of strange troops, you can definitely look forward for my atomic age content, because I think the APCs are one of the most underrated units in the game. I have already mentioned them a couple of times, and therefore you can look forward to some experiments and some video guides about them. Today we have to shoot 3 questions, 2 of them in particular. The last question I don't feel, honestly, to be able to answer adequately right in this FAQ video. Therefore I decided to make an additional video only about this third question. Here we are for the first question, and the first question is about how to approach a missile silo. First on, to assume some possible solutions to this question, I will consider the most common approach to get to the missile silo. So not about some strange situations or approaches where about to take all of your 5 fully upgraded atomic age planes with some special coalition combinations as well as demolition and suicidally let them fly about your base, hoping to get rid of the silo. First, I think this is pretty much not generalizable for all players, and secondly, I think only the littlest amount of players has access to fully upgraded atomic age planes, neither 5 of them. Therefore, I decided to consider the more common ways how to approach a missile silo, which I think at least 99% of all players should be able to conduct. For all further information, go and check out my video. I think it's number 527. There you will get any information about other possibilities how to approach a silo. Today, like I've mentioned, we will only focus at the most common method, which is splitting up your attack, pre-deploying some deception troops, how I will call them, and then later on deploying your main force to get the percentage and destruction done. First on, 2 more side notices. I don't claim at all being the best attacker of silos. I'm pretty aware of the fact that there are probably more used to players and more experienced players about attacking silo bases. Besides of the fact that I have to admit honestly, if I have the choice, attacking a base without a silo obviously is more comfortable for me than attacking a base with silo. I don't think I have to hesitate to attack a silo base, because I don't think I am one of the worst attackers so far. Therefore, I decided to make this conclusion video. The other factors about, we will talk about some example bases, so like this base over here, and I'm pretty aware of the fact that it is level 249, therefore pretty much maxed out. And so we don't consider the defense structures and the level of defense buildings over here. It is just only about the build-wise of the base and about the location of the silo, not about the defense buildings at all. Now, when it comes to an attack of a silo base, it is pretty much only to differentiate between 2 cases of attacks. The first case, I think, is attacking with global or even industrial troops, and the second case is having access to atomic troops. The main difference in between are, if you are atomic already, you have access to these very overpowered tank destroyers, which are nearly not vulnerable to anything, it seems like, except for cannon towers. If you are industrial or global age, you have to get the job done by flam panzers and or jacked panzers. So now what to do in planning phase about an attack. First, look at the base. There are only 3 kind of troops or buildings which are absolutely threatening to your troops. And first is the fort with the spawning generals and especially the Gatling gun defenders. Second, we have the cannon towers. And third, we have spawning heavy tanks, either from the bunkers or from the resistance factories. The cannon towers all the way are a threat for you, especially if they are located behind walls or in combination with some traps, no matter whether you have atomic or global or industrial troops. So let's assume we have some global or industrial troops. I would search for a flank where we don't have to care about the cannon towers. So let's first see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cannon towers, all bunched up, it seems like over here, in the very top as well as the center position. Therefore, pretty much no threat of them down here, but we have the castle as well as 2 bunkers and 2 resistance heavy tank spawning factories. Therefore, in case of industrial or global age, I would definitely not attack from over here, because otherwise I would have to carry early on with my planes about them, which means a lot more micromanagement and losing some valuable seconds. I would decide to go for the left or either the right flank. I see the Acropolis over here. In good build base layouts, the Acropolis always effects strong defender spawning buildings. Therefore, I would go with my main army from the Acropolis side and with my deception troops probably from the left flank. In case of atomic troops, you have some more opportunities. So, for example, approach from either right or the left flank where the factories are located. It is also worth considering some kind of plan B which you have in your pocket for the immediate emergency. Immediate emergency would be, for example, about having your deception troops being or already got crashed by the enemy defense, and the silo is about to target your main troops. Let's be honest, one precise shot, even if your troops are spread out and the attack is almost over, no matter how desperately you are dropping some troop cards to save the attack anymore. So now, if you are seeing your deception troops are about to getting crushed, you have, in my opinion, 2 options to get the job done. First, sabotage the silo. In the best case, at an area which you have spotted before. So in this base over here, for example, very precisely together with the town center, which is in the heat of action, not that good conductible, I think, but you could also sabotage these buildings here, over here, or for example, over here the buildings. Just only dropping a very unprecise sabotage is not that useful, I think. The second method, which I consider as pretty smart, is using your decoys. First, the silo has quite a lot of blind spot around it, so make sure to don't use the decoys too close to the silo as emergency reaction. The decoy tactic, in case of deception troops already destroyed, is especially then working if your main troops have already some kind of spread out. If you have area located them before, they may be too bunched up. But if you want now to place your decoys to decept the silo, use at least one, and if you want to make sure, waste 2 decoys at the same spot to bunch up some hit points and so bolster your own attack to give your main troops some more seconds, which are valuable to go for the silo or to get in range of the silo and therefore being unable to being attacked from it. Due to the fact that we have previously nearly only done some theoretical work, we will go on, analyze 2 more bases, and I will tell you how I would approach at them to give you some visual examples. Over here we have a pretty unconventional layout, even better for giving an example. So first again, let's see where are the threatening buildings. We have the castle over here, we have bunkers over here and over here, spawning heavy tanks over here and over here. So cannon towers, strangely, I can only count about 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It should be 6, I think, in Atomic Age, but no matter, I can't see a 6th one. So approaching from the left side is, especially in the Industrial Age and Global Age, pretty risky. I would not recommend at all, due to the fact that we have bunker, spawning heavy tank from resistance, as well as our fort and general defenders. Attacking from the top side is also only recommendable if you are attacking with atomic troops due to, again, 2 cannon towers as well as a high level bunker. So one approach could be pre-deploy your deception troops at the very bottom and then start with your main troops from the town center side. Which you have to be aware, if you would attack this layout, you have 2 cannon towers which will later come into range of your troops and then you have to care about. Also we have the stronghold, so you probably have to deploy some decoys or even use your planes. Here we have the third and last base as example. Let's do again some planning work. Also over here I can only see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cannon towers, no 6th one, again pretty strange, but nevertheless at this base we also have 1 bunker And the second bunker, heavy tank and heavy tank general spawning. Also here one general, but it is only one, and he's considerably, or she's considerably low. So no matter which age, approaching from the very left side with the deception troops would be recommendable in my opinion. Attacking from the top would also be recommendable. I think my most favorized situation would be deploy my deception troops over here. We have a lot of high hit point buildings, which will stop my troops from entering the base and so attracting too many defenders, and they can get some additional hit points and so percentage for your destruction if you deploy them down here. Then attacking probably with my main force at this side. Also, another pretty funny fact is we have 4 absolutely strong and important buildings at this base, very close together I see right now. So only 1 sabotage and getting rid of all of them. In such a case like this one, I would even risk taking 2 sabotages with myself instead of only 1. Because disabling 2 mortars, the stronghold, as well as the castle with only 1 sabotage is too attractive, if we have to be honest, to don't get the job done. Otherwise, you can also pretty much deploy as many decoys as you want between them to get all of them disabled. So I think this is absolutely a sweet spot or a weak spot of this base. Here we are for the second question. I received a lot of requests and questions whether it is worth taking and spending 1000 crowns for the second armory slot. And I can give only one very simple and understandable answer to this. Yes, written in big letters. I'm not a fan of spending huge amounts of money for mobile device games. But in case of inventions, like the blacksmith as well as the additional citizens, it is pretty easy and pretty obvious to see that you are investing in something which will help you continuously and no matter which age and stage of activity for over the whole game. So the more early you are purchasing it, the better it is getting. I haven't bought any crowns at all because I think it is pretty senseless, and if you have done it once, the chance of spending again some money for crowns is even getting higher, and that's some kind of risk of getting addicted. But I don't want to tell any one of you how to get the game done. I only want to tell you, if you want to spend some money, think about spending the money for additional citizens and the armory slot. If you have gotten them, they are immensely saving you time, so in total they are refunding you costs in case of crowns which you don't have to pay, in difference to players which have not purchased the additional citizens or the armory slot and therefore have to waste more time in the game or money. Equalize it. The third question I want to give only a short view about is about towers, and I got asked whether it's sensible to upgrade towers and whether they are sensible in defense. Let me give only some very short answer. Yes, they are definitely sensible due to the fact that they are absolutely strong if you have upgraded them and probably done some additional research in the university. Most players which are scanning your base for some threats of their air units are not considering the towers, but they are absolutely nightmares in my opinion for planes which are cruising in some U-turns above them. So far so good, guys and girls. Hopefully this episode was interesting to you. We see us soon. Your domination tips.